Welcome back. You're watching Budget The Takeoff. This is our special pre-budget setup for you. And now we're joined by Vaibhav Sanghavi of Ask Hedge Solutions, ASK Hedge Solutions. Vaibhav, very good morning. Great to have you on the show and on NDTV Profit. Let's begin with you settling this debate. Is this a non-event or a big event? How much do you think it matters what happens tomorrow and what Finance Minister presents actually for a record 6th time?
Yeah, of course. I think, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. And from a vote on account budget, right? I mean, I think with this government, what we've understood and realized is, as against the earlier dispensation, you can never kind of discard it in the sense that last time around in 2019, we had few important changes which have been made on the vote on account budget as well. So my sense is, or my guess is basically, I think this is going to be important. One, in terms of continuation of the direction of what they have already been doing in the last 5 years, and whether that is going forward likely as well. If that is the case, then there are broader directions where the budget is likely to go in terms of better supply or better emphasis on supply side. At the same time, trying to support the poor and the needy, which is kind of essential, and kind of tries to balance in terms of the overall population, from a nation perspective. So I think it's critical to understand and see the direction where is it heading post tomorrow.
Vaibhav, good morning. Neeraj here. So the street is littered with expectations from around 4 or 5 themes that could probably be the key ones. I want to start off by thinking of, or asking you to tell us, what do you think of the green energy, renewables story out there? And with a budget impetus, could there be more in store for the longer term?
I think we've been, hearing about, flame free and various other measures to kind of increase the, incentives on the overall, green theme. Now, we also have to understand that this is in line with, our very long-term ambition of 2017 by being net zero. At the same time, the COP28 summit, which kind of happened, and the resolutions which were passed on, I think we would have, along with us, the global other countries as well, would have those targets to be kind of completed as well, to try and push, incentivize the industry's consumers. I think huge amount of emphasis is likely to come about on this space. And we recently saw the Honorable Prime Minister also talking about rooftops, kind of solar panels as well. So I think a lot of activity, a lot of news, a lot of incentives and push from the government is likely to be happening in this space, where we in which ways are very bullish for the next few decades.
Okay. The other aspect is this whole belief around capex moderation. Now, even if it's 10% and not 30% growth, but that's still a large number, assuming that they do about 9 lakh crores, that they get 10 lakh crores with a 10% growth. Is that a good number for the capex theme to continue performing on the bourses?
Of course, I think it is an absolute number versus a relative number, right? As a percentage of your fiscal, budget, or probably, on an absolute sense where you are kind of, going higher. My sense is basically that on one side, when we are actually looking at good revenue traction in terms of the tax buoyancy, I think the capex theme will continue. One thing we've found from this, government is the consistency in terms of their approach towards the economy, pump priming the economy, or pushing for growth in this economy. I think they are very focused on the supply side, and my sense is basically I don't think that is going away. Of course, tomorrow, and more likely so, post the election when the main budget comes, would probably seal that. Our sense is basically this will continue, both in absolute sense and relative sense, as a percentage of the budget as well.
Yeah. Vaibhav, the conundrum right now is that the big themes, and like you said, consistency has been seen in terms of policy direction. The big themes have all played out. Railways, You've had phenomenal run-up in the key counters. You've seen that in green energy that Neeraj talked about, infra, defense, one of those. So where do the opportunities in your view lie? And, what are the key areas that you'll be watching out for?
See, I think the way, as you rightly mentioned, have played out a little. But I would rather see the other way, where I would think that they probably just started, in the sense that being these opportunities a very long-term opportunity. So for something like a climate green energy, it's not about 1 year or 2 years, right? I think it is about multi-decade kind of opportunity. Similarly, in case of defense, what we are seeing that the policy actions, right from PLIs to Make in India, I think those are structural policies, and those policies, in my view, will take the industry. It's not again about 1 and 2 years, but on a very good progress path over multi-years or probably a decade or so. So I think we should not be be myopic about this and probably look for extremely short term. Okay, of course, these teams have played a bit, but I think there is a long way to go as well when we want to kind of capture the opportunity. So yes, of course, in the interim, you may see some amount of corrections, but I think we should be stuck to playing this long-term opportunity.
Yeah, in terms of, I get your point about a long-term opportunity, but some of the valuations are truly starting to pinch. So, your view on that, and also something specific on what you expect on budget day. We were looking through data of how markets generally perform on budget day, and most of the action happens post, I suppose, once the fine print is digested. You see on the fence sort of range-bound play on the budget day. Are you expecting to see that once again?
See, I think first to address your question in terms of the valuations, I think, of course, you're right. I think the valuations have re-rated on the higher side. And we will have to see that how the swelling of your order books are translating into better revenue traction and increasing margins. If that is the case, the valuations will remain high. I don't think that is much of a problem, at least in the medium term. Coming to the question in terms of your budget day, of course, during the time of the budget, you will see some amount of volatility coming about. But unless there is, a big surprise either way, my sense is basically the markets will probably end range bound. I don't think there would be, any major excitement, or probably any euphoria, should there not be any kind of surprise in terms of the announcement. Now, surprise in the announcement, of course, will come from the fine print reading and analysis. So next day is one where you may see larger action coming about.
Vaibhav Sanghavi of ASK Hedge says the fine print is where everything will matter, and you'll see that next day. Now, let's cut across to Prime Minister Modi. He's addressing the media ahead of the budget.